Rachel Reeves versus Jeremy Corbyn, the political playground just got messier. Right, let's talk about the absolute chaos that's just unfolded in British politics, because honestly, you couldn't script this level of drama if you tried. Rachel Reeves has just delivered what can only be described as the political equivalent of a Mike Tyson uppercut to Jeremy Corbyn's face, and frankly, it's been a long time coming. But before we dive into this beautiful mess, let me ask you this: when was the last time you saw a sitting chancellor tell a former party leader to essentially jog on and start his own political playground? Because that's exactly what's happened, and it's absolutely glorious. So grab your popcorn, settle in, and let's dissect this political car crash that somehow managed to make British politics even more entertaining than a reality TV show. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll understand why this might just be the beginning of Labour's biggest headache since, well, the last time Jeremy Corbyn was in charge. Picture this: Jeremy Corbyn, the man who managed to lose 2 general elections and still thinks he's got what it takes to be Prime Minister, has decided to launch his own political party. I know, it's like watching someone who's been rejected twice by the same person deciding to slide into their DMs again, but with significantly more delusion and considerably less self-awareness. The new party, creatively called Your Party because apparently naming things is hard when you're busy plotting political comebacks, has managed to rack up 600,000 email sign-ups. Now, before you get impressed by that number, remember that people also signed up for Google+, and we all know how that ended. But here's where it gets interesting: this isn't just Corbyn having a mid-political life crisis. He's got backup in the form of Tsar Sultana, the former Labour hardliner who's apparently decided that the best way to stick it to the establishment is to create an entirely new establishment. The beauty of this whole situation is that Corbyn supporters are so confident in their cause that they're actively trying to persuade the Unite Union to completely cut ties with Labour. It's like watching someone burn their own house down and then asking their wealthy relative to help them build a new one. The audacity is almost admirable, if it weren't so spectacularly misguided. But here's where the plot thickens like a badly made custard. Polling suggests that this ragtag collection of political refugees could actually grab 10 to 15% of the vote. That's not insignificant, especially when you consider that 31% of people who voted Labour in 2024 are apparently open to giving Corbyn another shot. It's like collective political amnesia, where everyone's forgotten why they broke up with their ex in the first place. Now, if you thought that was dramatic enough, wait until you hear Rachel Reeves' response, because she's just delivered the kind of political smackdown that would make professional wrestlers jealous. Speaking at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, because apparently that's where we do serious politics now, Reeves didn't just throw shade at Corbyn, she basically erected a solar panel farm. Her opening gambit was brutal in its simplicity: Jeremy Corbyn has had 2 chances to be Prime Minister and I think the country gave their verdict, most recently in 2019 when Labour had its worst result since 1935. Ouch! That's not just a political attack, that's a historical fact delivered with the precision of a surgical strike. She essentially told him that the British public has already spoken, twice, and both times they said no thank you with the kind of emphasis usually reserved for declining a timeshare presentation. But Reeves wasn't done there. Oh no, she was just getting warmed up. When asked if Labour was being complacent about this new political threat, she delivered what might be the line of the year: he tried to destroy my party and he can now go set up his own party. The country has rejected him twice. The bloke's got a big ego. He can have another go, but I think the country will have the same verdict. Let's just pause for a moment to appreciate the sheer audacity of calling out a former party leader for having a big ego in front of a room full of journalists. That's not political commentary, that's character assassination with a smile. It's the kind of burn that requires industrial strength aloe vera, and frankly, Corbyn probably deserved every word of it. The personal nature of this attack is significant because it represents a complete departure from the usual political niceties. Reeves isn't just disagreeing with Corbyn's policies or questioning his electability, she's essentially calling him a delusional narcissist who can't take a hint. In the world of British political understatement, this is the equivalent of starting a street fight with brass knuckles. But the drama doesn't end there, because apparently someone signed up Ellie Reeves, Rachel's sister and Labour chairwoman, to Corbyn's new party without her knowledge. It's like political identity theft, but with more embarrassing consequences. This little revelation led Rachel to dismiss Corbyn's impressive-sounding sign-up numbers, suggesting that if people are being signed up without their consent, maybe those 600,000 supporters aren't quite as enthusiastic as they appear. Think about it, if your political movement's growth strategy involves accidentally recruiting your opponent's family members, you might want to reconsider your data collection methods. It's the political equivalent of padding your restaurant reviews by getting your mum to write 5-star ratings under fake names. What makes this entire situation even more delicious is the timing. Labour is currently dealing with what can charitably be described as a challenging period in government. Keir Starmer's approval ratings are somewhere between a root canal and a tax audit, and here comes Jeremy Corbyn, riding in like some sort of discount political messiah, offering to save the day with the same policies that got him thoroughly rejected by the electorate not once, but twice. It's worth noting that some insiders are genuinely worried about the threat this poses, particularly in Starmer's own constituency of Holborn and Street Pancras. According to sources speaking to GB News, there's talk of a big upset being possible, especially with what they describe as Starmer's colossal unpopularity. That's got to sting, knowing that your own seat might be under threat from the man whose political legacy you spent years trying to distance yourself from. The irony here is absolutely delicious. Starmer built his entire leadership campaign on the premise that he wasn't Jeremy Corbyn, that he could make Labour electable again, that he could win back the voters who'd fled during the Corbyn years. And now, just when he's finally got his hands on the keys to number 10, here comes Corbyn again, like that ex who shows up at your wedding just to make things awkward. Meanwhile, Reeves wasn't content with just taking shots at former Labour leaders. She also took the opportunity to reshape the entire political landscape with a few choice observations. According to her, Reform UK is now Labour's main rival, and the Conservative Party has been relegated to irrelevant status. That's got to hurt if you're a Tory MP, being dismissed as irrelevant by the Chancellor while she's busy having a public spat with a man who hasn't been relevant since 2019. But because British politics can never have just one drama at a time, we also got treated to a delightful exchange between Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch and former Prime Minister Liz Truss. Because apparently, what this situation really needed was more people throwing political punches in public. Badenoch decided to wade into the fray by attacking Labour's economic policies, writing in The Telegraph that for all their mocking of Liz Truss, Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves have not learnt the lessons of the mini-budget and are making even bigger mistakes. It's a bold strategy, invoking the mini-budget that lasted about as long as a lettuce and caused more economic chaos than a toddler in a china shop. But Truss, bless her heart, wasn't about to let that slide. She fired back with the kind of response that suggests she's still fighting battles from 2022, saying that Kemi hasn't learned the lessons of the mini-budget, which apparently had nothing to do with the actual policies and everything to do with Conservative MPs not backing tax cuts and the Bank of England's pension regulation failures. It's like watching someone explain that their restaurant didn't fail because the food was terrible, but because the customers just didn't understand fine dining. The level of cognitive dissonance required to maintain that position is genuinely impressive in its audacity. What we're witnessing here is British politics at its most beautifully chaotic. You've got a former party leader starting a new party with a name that sounds like a rejected slogan from a community centre campaign. You've got a sitting chancellor delivering personal attacks that would make a boxing commentator blush. You've got Conservative leaders fighting over who learned the right lessons from an economic disaster that most people would prefer to forget entirely. And somehow, in the middle of all this madness, we're supposed to believe that any of these people are qualified to run the country. It's like watching a group of teenagers argue over who's responsible for breaking the vase while the house burns down around them. The real question now is whether Corbyn's new venture will have any lasting impact or whether it'll go the way of most political vanity projects, quietly fading into irrelevance after the initial media frenzy dies down. History suggests that breakaway parties in British politics have about as much longevity as a chocolate teapot, but then again, these are unusual times. What's certain is that this public spat between Reeves and Corbyn represents something deeper than just personal animosity. It's a battle for the soul of the Labour Party, fought out in public with all the subtlety of a sledgehammer. Reeves is essentially saying that Labour has moved on, that the Corbyn experiment was a failed chapter that the party has closed, and that anyone who disagrees is welcome to try their luck elsewhere. The beauty of her approach is its brutal honesty. Instead of diplomatic language about respecting different viewpoints within the party, she's basically told Corbyn to take his big ego and his hard left politics and see how far they get him in the real world. It's refreshing in its directness, even if it's probably not the kind of unity message that party strategists usually recommend. For those of us watching from the sidelines, this is pure entertainment. British politics has always had its dramatic moments, but there's something particularly satisfying about watching politicians drop the pretense and just have at each other in public. It's like reality TV, but with actual consequences for the country. The timing couldn't be more perfect either. Just as everyone was settling into the routine of a Labour government, along comes this reminder that politics is never really settled, that yesterday's defeated leaders can become tomorrow's insurgent threats, and that personal grudges in politics have a way of resurfacing at the most inconvenient moments. As we watch this drama unfold, remember that this is just the beginning. Corbyn's party doesn't even have an official name yet, the local elections are still months away, and there's plenty of time for more political fireworks. If this is how things are starting, imagine how entertaining the actual campaign is going to be. So there you have it, the latest chapter in the never-ending soap opera that is British politics. Rachel Reeves has thrown down the gauntlet, Jeremy Corbyn has picked it up, and somewhere in the background, the rest of us are just trying to figure out whether to laugh or cry at the state of our political system. What do you think about this whole mess? Is Rachel Reeves right to go after Corbyn so directly, or is this just going to create more problems for Labour? And more importantly, do you think Corbyn's new party has any chance of actually making an impact, or is this just the political equivalent of a midlife crisis? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to UK Daily Coffee for more political drama, because let's be honest, there's always more drama coming. Hit that notification bell too, because you know I'll be back tomorrow with whatever fresh chaos British politics serves up next. Trust me, at this rate, there's going to be plenty to talk about.